Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Julia. We're going to be doing school board commentary. If you haven't heard, the teachers got their raise. They got the 3.5% raise. It was voted, the school board voted for it 6-1. Gloria Branch voted against it. And I'm going to we're going to react to things from the impasse hearing because the board meeting was very routine and there were, some teachers that came out and thanked them. But the real interesting part of it was the hearing. So I'm going to react to a couple things that Mike Burke said. In my reaction to what Mike Burke said, I'll address why Gloria didn't vote for it. And what else? And yes, and just to give you a little bit of an overview before we get started, the main dispute is Mike Burke is saying that if we give the teachers the raise that there will be layoffs. The union is saying not necessarily, you have all these reserves, and my perspective on this is, yeah, there will probably be layoffs, but that is better than not giving the teachers a raise, and I'll talk more about that while we react to stuff. So here's Mike Burke talking about why there's going to need to be layoffs.
That's noteworthy because the special magistrate's recommendation of a 3.5% recurring salary increase would necessitate an additional $20 million recurring reduction to the FY27 budget. The magistrate concluded this $20 million could be covered in, and these are his words, could be covered in any number of ways, including the use of unassigned reserves. He failed to provide any specifics or explain what that entails. I can tell you it will require the elimination of people's jobs. I have never recommended the elimination of people's jobs solely for the purpose of increasing the salary for the remaining employees. I was CFO during the Great Recession and helped avoid layoffs through hiring holds and very limited salary increases. Employees received no raise in 2010 or FY10. In FY11, employees got a $500 one-time bonus or payment. And in 2012, employees got a $500 across-the-board raise. These austere settlements kept Team Palm Beach out of the unemployment line.
All right, so Mike makes this comment where he tries to compare the recession from 2008 and how they didn't do any salary increases during that time so that they could keep Team Palm Beach together. So this isn't the same circumstance at all. If you had to lay off people during the recession, it would have been very likely that these people wouldn't have been able to find another job because that recessions cause struggling through all of these other industries. But this is not the situation that's going on with the public schools is not that. It's just that you were enjoying a monopoly on education that our state leaders are no longer putting up with. And you are also benefiting from immigration policy that has been reformed. So, and then they talk about how there's this birth rate crisis, of course, which is causing a drop in student enrollment. So it's not the same thing. So yeah, Mike Burke says this comment where he says, I want to keep Team Palm Beach together. This is really a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation where either you don't give the teachers this raise and the teachers that you want to maintain quit. A lot of teachers that are good enough to go get other jobs and confident enough in themselves and in their skills to get other jobs will go get other jobs, right? Versus layoffs give you the power to get rid of people who are not thriving in the role, who are not good at their jobs. One of the pitfalls of government work is that you end up getting stuck with people that are difficult to fire, that are not great employees, because there's a lot more employee protections in government work. And layoffs give you a way to get rid of those people without having to outright fire them. And then there are people who aren't necessarily bad employees, who are just they're not great teachers, and they don't want to go out and get new jobs, and put themselves out there like that, and they sort of just need a kick in the pants. And those people might be hurt in the moment, but maybe they'll end up in a role that they're much better suited for. You know, in 5 years' time, they'll be like, "Oh, it was such a blessing in disguise that I got laid off from this job that wasn't really serving me, from this role that I wasn't thriving in." So I mentioned it before. We're not going to watch Gloria's comment. Gloria's comment is basically just, it doesn't make sense to me to raise teacher pay just to lay teachers off. And I just don't agree with the sentiment. It makes total sense to me. And then a big part of Mike Burke's speeches is the blame game. We blame Tallahassee. It's not our fault. Blame Tallahassee. Tallahassee doesn't support education. So here's Mike saying that, and then I'll react to that.
State's budget process. Frustration over teacher salaries should be directed to our state leaders. Florida's education funding ranks a dismal 46 out of 50 states in the nation. And you can see that on the chart here. Florida is in green. What's challenging about this is Florida actually enjoys a very strong economy. Our GDP is 4th in the nation, and if we were a country, we'd be 15th in the world. But our state leaders do not prioritize education, and we invest a smaller percentage of our GDP into it than other states on average.
Some of the school board members in their comments, they express sort of similar sentiments. Go to Tallahassee, make your voices heard. We did go to Tallahassee and make our voices heard, which is why the state is blood red now. Let's say about 7 years ago, in 2019, the public school system in this country, in this state, was enjoying a lot of, frankly, unearned public trust because people were busy at work and they weren't watching what their teachers were teaching their kids in class. And then the pandemic happened, and we all got a front row seat to our child's education. We were able to be involved in a way we weren't prior. And we saw firsthand this extremely divisive and unpopular political agenda the teachers were injecting into the curriculum. A lot of gender nonsense, a lot of divisive theories about race, and this made people upset, right? And it upset parents to the point that there are a lot of publicly elected officials that ran on this platform of, not only are we going to make it illegal for them to teach this nonsense to your kids in schools, we are going to make it easier than it's ever been before through school choice initiatives to get your children away from these people. And this was such a popular message that we now live in a blood red state. And it's really frustrating because they just have not acknowledged this, right? They haven't acknowledged that they brutally wrecked public trust to the point that we had to elect people to come in and clean up the mess, right? They've just sort of doubled down on the blame game. It's very frustrating. You cannot restore public trust that you've broken if you refuse to acknowledge that you did it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being updated. The school year is about to come to an end, so we'll see what they have going on in the summer. I might go to another school board meeting in the summer. We'll see how things are going on my end. You know, I make no promises, but we'll see.